Hey, Andy, have you ever been surprised by some of the things that Steve comes up with late in games and by the results of those things, the blitzes and some of those things that he does? And Kelce, I'll have a second question as well.
I get to see him all week, so it's not a surprise on game day. He does a heck of a job of knowing when to use the different blitzes, and that's half the battle. It's not how much you blitz; it's just how you utilize the blitzes and when you utilize them. So he's got a great feel for that.
Yeah, how did he get that touch for doing that? And I know you had to coach against him. I know it's been a while now, but you coached against him before. What's it like calling plays against his defenses?
Yeah, so it's obviously tough. I mean, he gives you a lot of different looks. And Nagy will tell you that when you talk to him, he more recently has gone against them, and so he's tough to go against with the different combinations that he has. So he does a heck of a job with it.
We'll go next to Sam McDowell. Sam?
Hey, Andy, just a quick two-part question here, but the first half, I wonder if you could take us through the 4th-and-1 play. First, the decision to go for it, and then also the execution of that play.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job with the execution. We've tried to stay aggressive on 4th down within reason throughout the season, but that was the idea behind it. The execution of the play, I thought we blocked it well, which ends up being important, and then the ability of Kareem to kind of bounce off of things and his lateral cutting ability there.
Speaking of that, just wondered if you could. How have you just seen him embrace short yardage situations as a whole? I mean, I know that's been his reputation, but particularly this year, just how good he's been in short yardage for you.
Yeah, he's done a nice job for us. Kareem is a big kid, and he's got a good low center of gravity, and he's got great vision and lateral cutting ability. So that fits in well with your short yardage game. Usually, Sam, there's not a lot of space in there normally, and so for you to be able to squeeze through those tight holes, and he does a good job. He has a knack of being able to kind of cut his body in half sideways by going sideways and still moving forward.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor. Nate?
Andy, considering you guys have, film to watch from the first matchup, just what do you think your defensive players and Steve Spagnuolo may have learned from that first game that can be applicable to Sunday's rematch?
Yeah, so one of the things we'll keep working on is you've got to be able to get off the field on 3rd downs. I mean, we keep stressing that, Steve does, and so we've got to you've got to be able to take care of those 3rd downs, especially when you've worked so hard to put yourself in a good position. So and they do it. Listen, the Bills do a heck of a job with that. They're a really good football team offensively.
We'll go next to Pete Sweeney. Pete?
Coach, Jalen Watson returned. It looked like you guys might have been limiting his snaps. How did he come out of the game, and you feel like you'll be able to kind of increase that as we go here?
He actually came out feeling good, Pete. I mean, it was that's one of the positives that you come out with Jalen. He's he was fresh from the injury, and you hope that he can not have the swelling that was taking place before, and still function at a relatively high speed during the game. And, I thought he did that. I thought he sustained when given that opportunity.
We'll go next to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy, I'll have a quick follow-up also, Kelce. I know this is hard to quantify, but when you see Travis in the postseason, how much do you think it's a function of the adrenaline for the postseason and the rest? Or is it one more than the other? Is it both that have led to especially these last 2 postseason starts?
That's a good question, Vahe. I'm happy for him with the 7 catches and all that. But I think more of it is just we've got a variety of guys around him. I mean, the opportunities that he's done well with, and I don't think it's his play that has been reduced. Everybody asks about age or physical ability or anything. I just think that you've got a variety of guys that we've been able to use around him, and when we didn't, the teams were ganging up on him. So it's a good problem now because guys are healthy and we've got choices out there, and they can't really just focus on him.
And the follow-up, Andy, is I know you're big on the guys who are energy givers, and I assume Travis is one of the biggest of the energy givers. But I wonder if you could just describe how infectious that is and how it resonates with his teammates.
Yeah, but it's not only his energy; it's that positive mindset that you can do anything, and I think he does a great job with that, and being able to show it to the guys that, listen, we come together the right way, anything's possible. So that's the thing I appreciate him the most. I also appreciate that at his age, he goes out there every day and practices hard. I mean, and if you try to take him out, he gets mad at you. So I think that's a special thing, for an older player.
We'll go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, I have a quick housekeeping question and a second question, Kelce. But Coach, on McColl, his practice window closes this week. Do you expect that, is there a possibility that maybe he'll end the season on IR, or would you like to get him activated this week?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes here. Just I haven't made any decisions on that yet, Matt. So, but he's worked hard to try to get himself back and get going. But we'll see how that works out.
And I'm curious on just additional watch, what you thought about the offensive line play on Saturday, and especially the left tackle spot. Yeah,
first I'd give credit to the Texans. I mean, that defense is a good defense, real good defense, and that defensive line is a big challenge, as it will be this week. This defensive line likewise is a big challenge. So, but I thought our guys held up well against them, and we did some good things in the run game, and did some good things in our play pass game. So, we were decent on third down. So I think all around it was good against who we were playing against.
We'll go next to Nick Jacobs. Nick?
And Kelce, I'll have a follow-up if I can, please. Andy, from 2017 when Kareem was a rookie until now, what ways have you seen him grow as a player? And how much do you appreciate that he's getting this moment and this opportunity?
Yeah, Nick, I mean, he's able to speak up now because he's been there. He's got that senior leadership thing going. And so as much of an energy giver as we were just talking about Trav, Kareem does the same thing. He brings it a little different way, but he brings it, that toughness, that you get he and Pacheco out there. I mean, there's a whole lot of energy coming off of those two. So, and that's appreciated. But that's probably where I tell you, he doesn't feel like the young guy on the team anymore. He's the veteran guy. And he knows guys will listen to him, and he can help set a tempo, all those things, Nick, that comes with being a veteran.
And then for like DeAndre, Hollywood, Kareem, and some of those rookies, what does it mean to you as a coach to kind of give them this moment to where they do get to play in an AFC Championship game, and no matter what happens, they have that on their bucket list checked off type of thing?
Yeah, Nick, that's kind of a neat deal. DeAndre, I mean, he's been doing it 12 years. And so I said, hey, you never been to this one, have you? And he said, no. But it's, and we're able to go against a real good football team here. And so that competition level will be at its highest point. That's why we're all in this thing. So for him to have that opportunity to experience that part, as great as he is, to even be able to have to take it up one more notch, is something that'll be new for him. So I think that's a great thing for the young guys. It'll be a good experience for them going forward, and they can learn from it. And we'll tell them what it's all about. The players will tell them what it's all about. But until you get out there and feel that energy, you really don't know. But it'll be good for them to get through it.
We have two more for you, Coach. We'll go first to Todd Levo. Todd?
Coach, on that front, this round of the playoffs, the Bills are their second chance to try to get you guys in this round. You didn't get through right away at Philadelphia. What is it about this round? I know you're playing a good team, but is there anything else about this round that is special over the others?
Yeah, well, the fact that we're at home is a real positive, I think. We've got to play well. I know, whether we're favored or not favored, I don't know. I presume they'll probably be favored, but that's all right. We do our thing as we go into this, and we don't worry about all that noise. So, but it's a high level of football, and you've got to handle it that way. I mean, you get to test yourself, and at close to the highest level. Besides Super Bowl, there's the highest level. So I think that's kind of what it's all about for coaches and players.
We have one last one for you, Coach. We'll go to Seren Petro. Seren?
Thank you. And I'll have a follow-up too, Kelce. Coach, first of all, your pass rush obviously was great. George had a big day just all around, and it's really stepped up coming down the stretch. How much of that is just maybe Charles Omenihu, having the depth of rushers, or is it schematically that Spags did something differently? Because you really kind of struggled compared to where you were last year early on. Now, you're playing your best when it comes to getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, sure. No, Spags done a good job. We talked about that. But the players also have to step up, and that's what the guys have done a nice job with. I'm so proud of them for that. Joe Cullen does a heck of a job with that defensive line, and George had a big day, just being as relentless as he is, and how much work he puts into the game, and making sure he's physically right and so on. It's a real tribute to him, and his effort. And then Charles, it's been great to have Charles in there. I don't think you're missing a point there at all. He's a good passer. He's a good football player. So that helps a lot to have him in there. And Chris Jones likewise, and Mike, who doesn't get any of the glory. He's a good football player too. So he kind of does the dirty work. So doesn't get much praise for it.
And then finally, Coach, we hear a lot about like the middle eight, last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. I mean, the Texans really got a dream scenario. They basically had the ball for 15 minutes of game time there. I'm just, on the offensive side, you guys, a lot of times that could seem like, make you cold, rusty at halftime. And then I think it was maybe more than an hour before the offense really got to go out there and execute. Yet you came out and went down the field. What are you doing during all that time? What do you do to keep everybody focused, sharp, and make sure that, the Texans aren't, basically icing your offense?
Yeah. It was a pretty cold day too. That well-used words there. So, the guys, they stay focused and they have a purpose coming out that second half, which is important. That's something that we've worked on here this season. We weren't very good at that the beginning of the season, and we try to really focus in on that. Whether that's staying warm and loose and all that, that's also part of it. But staying in tune with the game, I think, is big. And yeah, the 15 play drives and 14 play drives back to back used up a lot of time for both teams. So, but I'm glad we were able to put it together. I appreciate the focus that went into it, I guess, to answer your question, and that covers a lot of space when you use that word. But the guys, they kept themselves ready to go.
Coach, that's all we have for you. We appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.
Hey there, Chiefs Kingdom. Are you ready for what could be the game of the year? It's all set. The Kansas City Chiefs will face off against the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship. This isn't just any game. It's a battle for the Lamar Hunt Trophy and a ticket to the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the stakes for a moment. The Chiefs have been here before, and this team thrives under pressure. But the Bills? They're hungry for revenge after coming up short in past playoff matchups. This game is going to be electric, and you won't want to miss a second of it. So let me ask you, who do you think will take it? Type KC in the comments if you're riding with the Chiefs, or BUFF if you think the Bills have what it takes. I want to see those predictions rolling in. Let's take a closer look at how both teams are shaping up heading into this matchup. First off, the Chiefs are coming off a dominant 23-4 win against the Texans. That game wasn't even close. The defense came alive, and Patrick Mahomes looked as sharp as ever. This team is peaking at just the right time, and that's exactly what you want to see heading into a championship game. Now, the Bills, on the other hand, had to grind out a tough win against the Ravens. Sure, they showed grit, but that kind of back and forth game takes a toll, especially when you're about to face a team as battle-tested as the Chiefs. Plus, let's not forget where this game is happening, Arrowhead Stadium, the noise, the energy. It's a whole different atmosphere. What do you think? Does the Bills' momentum stand a chance against the Chiefs' dominance? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's talk about why Patrick Mahomes gives us a clear edge in this game. You already know he's no stranger to high-pressure moments. Over the years, Mahomes has shown us time and time again why he's the most electrifying quarterback in the NFL. Remember that game against the Texans? Even while falling to the ground, he somehow managed to deliver a touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. That's the kind of magic you just don't see anywhere else. Here's the thing, people love to compare Mahomes to guys like Josh Allen, but let's be real, Mahomes has something no other quarterback in the league has. It's not just his skill set, it's his mentality. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, always ready to prove the doubters wrong. You better believe he's taking this matchup against Allen personally, and when Mahomes has that fire, he's unstoppable. But let's hear from you. Who do you think is the better QB right now? Type P for Patrick Mahomes or J for Josh Allen in the comments. I'll be watching to see who gets the most love. Alright, now that we've covered Mahomes' brilliance, let's talk about the guy who's always there to catch those magic passes, Travis Kelce. You can't talk about the Chiefs' offense without mentioning Travis Kelce. Sure, he had a quieter regular season by his standards, but when it's playoff time, that's when Kelce shifts into another gear. Just look at last week's game against the Texans. 7 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. When it matters most, Kelce delivers. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Bills' defense struggled against the Ravens last week, leaving receivers wide open all over the field. If Lamar Jackson could take advantage of that, imagine what Mams and Kelce are going to do. Add Noah Gray into the mix, and the Bills will have a tough time figuring out who to double team. It's a recipe for offensive fireworks. So here's the question. Who do you think will have a bigger impact against the Bills' Travis Kelce or another offensive player? Maybe Isaiah Pacheco or even DeAndre Hopkins. Drop your pick in the comments below. And speaking of players stepping up, let's not forget the role of our defense. Up next, we'll dive into how the pass rush could be the game changer we need to take down Buffalo. Let's shift our focus to the defense, where the Chiefs have been quietly building momentum. Remember the Texans game, 8 sacks. The pass rush was relentless, and it's a trend we've been seeing as the season progressed. With Chris Jones, Charles Omenihu, and George Karlaftis leading the charge, this defense has what it takes to make life miserable for Josh Allen. But here's the wild card, the X factors. Every big game seems to have that one player who steps up when it matters most. Maybe it's Isaiah Pacheco breaking free for a huge run or Marquise Brown making a clutch catch. It could even be Noah Gray making key plays that keep drives alive. What do you think? Who's going to be the Chiefs' X factor in this game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Ultimately, this matchup comes down to experience and resilience. The Chiefs have been here before. They know how to win these kinds of games. The Bills might put up a fight, but when it's all on the line, trust the Chiefs to get the job done. Buckle up, Chiefs Kingdom. Sunday night is going to be epic. Make sure you're subscribed and ready for our live watch party. Let's get that win and punch our ticket to the Super Bowl.